This has literally been the wildest week in AI news this entire year so far. And of course, it happened on a week where I was traveling to London for some meetings, and I am just now getting caught up with it all. My head is spinning, but I think I gathered all of the important stuff. Now, there was so much news this week that I couldn't fit it all into one video. But if you check out the news page over on Future Tools, I've listed every single thing that happened this week in the AI world. There was a ton, but I figured I'd pare this down to just the stuff I thought you would think was the most interesting. Starting with the news that the AI world is probably talking about the most, and that is OpenAI's 12 days of announcements. So on December 4th, Sam Altman went to X to say, starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, we're doing 12 days of OpenAI. Each weekday, we will have a live stream with a launch or demo, some big ones and some stocking stuffers. We've got great stuff to share. Hope you enjoy. Merry Christmas. Now, once the full 12 days are over, I'm going to make another video breaking down the entire 12 days of OpenAI miss. But so far, we know the first two things, and the first announcement was ChatGPT Pro. This is a new $200 per month plan for ChatGPT. However, the even bigger news than this $200 plan is that they now officially released OpenAI O1. Prior to December 5th, we only had access to the O1 preview model, but now they've opened up the full model of O1, as well as a new O1 Pro mode. And when we look at their benchmark charts here in math, you can see the O1 Pro mode outperformed the O1 preview that we've had access to by quite a bit. Competition code, the new O1 models are pretty neck and neck, but you can see them compared to the O1 preview model that we've already had available. It slightly outperforms in PhD level science questions. And of course, I'm a sucker for anything AI, so I signed up for it and I have access to this O1 Pro mode. I will be doing a deeper dive video on this next week. Now, if you're thinking, I don't want to pay $200 to get access to this O1 new model, well, don't worry. The $200 plan is the O1 Pro mode. As we saw in those graphs a second ago, the new O1 is actually still really, really good. And Sam Altman took to X to say, for extra clarity, O1 is available in our Plus tier, the $20 a month plan. The new Pro tier can think even harder on the hardest problems, but most users are going to be happy with the O1 inside of the $20 a month Plus tier. So for most people, if you're paying the $20 a month for a Plus plan, you should now see access to this O1 model instead of the O1 preview model, which is a really, really solid model. So jump in and start playing around with it because it is a lot better at reasoning than it used to be. Now, full disclosure, I got in super late last night from London and I haven't tested it a ton myself. I did upgrade, but I haven't played with it yet. But I will be putting it through its motions, testing it a little bit more, and then making a follow-up video once I have a little bit better of an idea of how well it does. We also know what they announced on the second day, because that was today, the day that I'm recording this video, December 6th. They announced OpenAI's Reinforcement Fine-Tuning Research Program. And this is really more of an announcement for developers and machine learning engineers because it's designed to help fine-tune the models for specific niche tasks. Essentially, if you have a specific niche task that you need these GPT models to do for you, you can personally reinforce it. This is what I'm gathering from the information I've read so far. So you can ask it to do these specific niche tasks, give it some feedback on how well it's doing, and the model will improve based on the feedback that you're giving so that it can get better and better at these niche tasks, or niche. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I don't know. Now, this is by application only. I will link up to the page in the description below, but you can apply to get access and you can see who they believe should be using it. Research institutes, universities, and enterprises. I'm probably going to apply so that I can play around with it myself, but I don't know, 50-50 on whether or not they actually give me access. Again, we'll be breaking down more of the 12 days of OpenAI announcements in next week and the following week's videos. From what I understand, they're not going to be making announcements over the weekend. So pretty much every day next week and every day the following week, we should see some sort of new announcement out of OpenAI. A lot of people are speculating that they're finally going to open up access to Sora. There's been some little clues and hints left from employees at OpenAI. So there's a good chance that maybe day 12, they'll wrap it up with Sora, like they opened with day 1 with the new O1 model. They're going to wrap it up on the final day with Sora to sort of bookend it with the biggest announcements, but we'll see how it all plays plays out. There's a few other smaller announcements that came out of OpenAI this week that I figured I'd tell you about real quick since we're talking about OpenAI anyway. They struck up a deal with Tom's Guide to use some of the content from Tom's Guide, PC Gamer, Tech Radar, and some other outlets owned by this company, Future. That's not the only new partnership OpenAI made this week. They also partnered with Anduril to advance U.S. artificial intelligence leadership and protect U.S. and allied forces. So Anduril is a company founded by Palmer Luckey, actually the original founder of Oculus, and they are a defense technology company similar to a company like Palantir. And it says here the partnership aims to improve the nation's defense systems that protect U.S. and allied military personnel from attacks by unmanned drones and other aerial devices. So it sounds like some of the Anduril defense technology is going to use OpenAI's like LLMs inside of the technology. We also learned this week that OpenAI hired their first marketing chief. They brought her in from Coinbase. So basically expect to see a lot more marketing from OpenAI. Right now, their marketing has really been posting on X and putting out press releases, but who knows, we might see commercials and influencer campaigns and the various other types of marketing we see some of the other big tech companies doing. Now, again, I moved through the OpenAI news quickly because I am going to do more follow-ups on this, but OpenAI wasn't the only company to have a ton of big announcements this week. Google just had a flood of announcements. One of the things most people are talking about is that if you use Spotify, well, the Spotify Wrap actually included an AI podcast this week. So Notebook LM sort of ingested all of your listening habits from this year and put them into a podcast so you can listen to a podcast that talks about what you listened to on Spotify this year. There's also a new Gemini model this week. It seems like every week when I make one of these news videos, there's a new Gemini model that has rolled out. And if we look at the chatbot arena here, the current model of Gemini, which came out December 6th, again, the day that I'm recording this video, is once again the top of the leaderboard. Now, this leaderboard does not appear to have the new O1 models. We have the O1 preview model that we previously had access to down here. The newest model that just came out this week is not listed on this leaderboard, but if you use Google Gemini, their model is apparently the best right now. And I am starting to use the Google Gemini model more and more. I'll talk about that in some future videos. Google also showed off the new PalyGemma 2 model, which is a vision language model which understands images and can do things like generate detailed, contextually relevant captions for images. One cool thing about these Gemma models is that these are Google's open source models. So you can actually download these models and run them locally and iterate and build off of them. They're also available on places like Hugging Face and Kaggle. But we're not even close to done with what Google announced this week. They also announced GenCast, which can predict weather and the risks of extreme conditions. It can actually predict weather forecast 15 days ahead of the weather actually happening. The further ahead of weather situations people can get, the better prepared people are going to be able to be for these weather events. Things like hurricanes and typhoons will be able to have much more advanced warning on. This is an area of research that's really exciting and could legitimately change the world. But Google also dropped some new announcements around their Pixel phone related to AI. And I'm just going to kind of rapid fire them because there's a lot of them. You can customize how Gemini helps you on your phone with the new saved info feature. So it actually remembers things about you so you don't have to repeat yourself all the time. It's able to use more apps. So when you're using your Gemini assistant, it can actually run apps for you just by asking it to do so. It can also basically answer calls for you. So check this out. It says if a package is being delivered, you can use the feature to respond to the delivery person by answering their yes or no questions or asking relevant follow-up questions, all via simple prompts. So the delivery person will be hearing an AI voice on the other line, but you could be responding with messages and not actually have to answer the phone. And once it's all done, you can see live transcripts of what the conversation actually looked like. It can now automatically organize screenshots on your phone for you, something that I think will be really helpful for me. I take a lot of screenshots. And there's even a new expressive captions feature. So you can see in this screenshot here that it's in all caps when somebody is being more expressive. So look at this video of the original, to the 3, they're going to stop him short. And then the right, to the 3, they're going to stop him short. And then it's all in caps and cheers and applause. So you can actually get more context of the excitement happening in the captions. And there's a lot of new features rolling out inside of of Pixel and Android. I'll make sure the links are in the description for all the other stuff that I didn't mention in this video. If you're a Vertex AI customer, you can actually use Google's new Veo and Imagen 3 models. Now, up until now, I don't know if you've been able to access Veo. I haven't been able to access it before, but if you are a Vertex customer, you can now use Google's AI video generator. This is like Google's answer to Sora and all the various video models that are out there. And you can see they're pretty solid. We'll have to do a future video where we compare Sora and Veo and Pika and Runway and all the various AI video models, because there's a lot of them now and all of them are getting pretty dang good. And here's the news that I found to be the coolest out of Google this week: their new Genie 2 model, which is a large-scale foundation world model. What does that mean? You can actually create playable worlds that are all generated by AI. So as this robot moves, every single frame was being generated by AI. As this sailboat moves around and as the camera moves around, it's all being generated in real time as you move around, and it actually remembers. So unlike some of the other world models we've seen, where if you move forward and then turn around and then look back again, it sort of changes the scene, this one actually seems to have a pretty good idea of where you've been as well. Here's some other examples. They're a little bit small on the screen, but we can see a humanoid robot in the woods, a humanoid robot in ancient Egypt, a first-person view of a robot on a purple planet, a first-person view of a robot in a loft apartment. I mean, some of these videos are really cool. Like, look at this speedboat moving around on a river here, and a first-person view of like somebody walking on a trail. And you can see, like I just mentioned, the long horizon memory. So it'll actually remember what it's already seen. And it can do all of this from just a prompt. So you prompt what you want, and it makes these scenes that you can actually move around in. Now, not to be cliche, but this is as bad as it's going to get. Think about games in the future. Think about like 5 years out from now. Games might all be completely generated like this in the future. Look, this actually even created NPCs that you can walk up to and interact with. Like, this is crazy to me, honestly. Realistic physics, smoke, gravity. Like, this car's about to drive off this cliff and you're going to see it actually fall off the cliff. So it understands gravity. This is absolutely wild. Somebody walking around in the forest with a flashlight. Look, the torch, see how it's like lighting up the area where they're walking, and the flashlight is sort of lighting up the area they're pointing it at. It can do realistic reflections. So crazy. Now, this is just research at the moment that they're showing off. It doesn't appear that we have access to it yet, but as soon as we do, you know I'm going to get in here and play around with this and really put it through its motions. I want to share this X post here from my buddy Bilal Sadhu. He says, imagine making 2D concept art for a game world, pressing a button, and suddenly you can walk around in an interactive 3D world. That's what Genie 2 can do. Simulate virtual worlds, including the consequences of any action. So if you unlock a door or jump or swim. He goes on to say, this is promising on two fronts: for game developers, enabling rapid prototyping of interactive experiences straight from concept art, and for AI research, providing unlimited diverse 3D environments for training and testing AI agents. And we actually got something similar out of Beifei Li's ElevenLabs this week, where you can upload a single photo and it will do something similar, generate a world that you can move around in with actual memory. We check out the ElevenLabs website here, we can see some other examples like these AI generated images that become worlds that you can actually navigate in. They even have a little bit of a usable demo. You can use your WASD keys here, and I can move around in this demo. So I'm actually using the keys and moving around, and if I click my mouse, I can look around. So if I look around this way, you can see I've got like these cobblestone steps and some trees behind me. Look forward again, that well's still there. Look behind me, same exact scene. So it's actually got that memory of what it saw before it. Now, it's a very small area that I can move around in. As I move closer to stuff, you can see it says out of bounds here, but there's a bunch of different demos that we can test here. Here's like a hiking trail or something. I can move like a little bit before it starts to get out of bounds, but again, this is the worst it's ever going to be. There's a bunch of other demos. I don't want to spoil the surprise. You can go to this website here, ElevenLabs.ai/blog, and play around with this stuff yourself now. There's a ton of demos that you can try, so totally free to play with. Go check it out. It's really cool. Today's video is sponsored by Build Your Store AI, a platform that helps you create an online business with a website that already has products in it ready to sell, all with very little upfront investment and within minutes. Starting an online business has traditionally required a lot of setup work and technical knowledge. Build Your Store AI aims to simplify this process by automating store creation, product selection, and order fulfillment services. Here's how it works. You begin by registering on the Build Your Store AI platform and then selecting your niche. Then you'll set up a Shopify account, which starts at just $1 for the first 3 months. After you install the Build Your Store app, their AI system creates a custom Shopify store. The platform comes with pre-selected winning products from the niche that you just selected. This allows you to focus on marketing and selling these products immediately without spending time on store building or product research. And the store builder integrates with AutoDS to handle the product sourcing and order fulfillment of the products that were pre-selected for your store. This automation means that the technical and logistical aspects of running an online store, things like inventory management and shipping, are handled automatically. The entire setup process takes just a few minutes, and there's no cost to try the Build Your Store AI platform. So whether you're interested in starting a side hustle or building a full e-commerce business, Build Your Store AI offers a streamlined, low-risk way to get started. So click the link in the description to get your free AI-built online store today. Grok got in on the AI news train this week, making Grok available for everybody. Before, you had to be one of the X paying members to be able to actually use the Grok chatbot. Now you don't need any sort of premium subscription. As long as you have an X account, you can get in and actually play around with Grok. So if I head over to my account here in the desktop, you can see there's now a Grok option. Now I've had the Grok option because I'm a paying member, but if you are a free X member, you should now also have access to Grok. And honestly, one of the coolest features of Grok is its image generation capabilities. It uses Flux 1.1 Pro, I believe, which is currently one of the best image generators. Ask it to generate some images for you and see how it does, because it's pretty dang cool. And we're about to see a lot more out of X in the AI world as well, because they just raised an additional $6 billion in funds to fuel their AI ambitions. Of course, Meta's not going to sit quietly this week as all these other AI companies are making big announcements. They unveiled a new Llama model as well. They unveiled Llama 3.370B. Earlier this year at Meta Connect, they announced Llama 3.1. Well, now they've released Llama 3.3 already, and we can see from this benchmark test the improvement that they're getting out of it. It's improved quite a bit at coding, it's improved quite a bit at math, and the cost to use it has stayed exactly the same. And then we have Microsoft. They rolled out their new Copilot Vision features in preview. So you have to have like the preview version of Windows to access this, but Copilot can now actually see what's happening on your computer and understand the context and help answer questions based on what's going on your computer. This was a feature they showed off a little while ago, but now they actually rolled out access to it. We could see in this demo video that this person's actually searching for an ugly Christmas sweater, and they're actually just chatting with their computer, and Copilot is actually giving them feedback on what sweater to buy. So they're essentially having a conversation with their computer as their computer sees what's going on the screen. Now there's music in this video, so I've opted not to play the audio, but that's basically what's happening. Copilot is seeing what's going on their screen. The user is actually talking back and forth with it. Oh, and Microsoft also rolled out a new model this week. This one being a small language model called Phi Silica. This is a model that is designed to run locally on your computer, so you're not sending data off to the cloud. And this one is specifically designed to run things like click to do, the on-device rewrite and summarization features in Word and Outlook, and a pre-optimized small language model for developers to utilize. Amazon had a little flurry of announcements this week too, including their new generation of foundational models called Nova. Now, Amazon has invested and partnered with Anthropic, so it sounds like Anthropic is going to be what we're going to see in Alexa and a lot of Amazon's technology in the near future, but they're also hedging their bets a little bit by developing their own AI models. You can see here's the suite of models that they've released. The Amazon Nova Micro, a text-only model that delivers the lowest latency responses at very low cost. Nova Lite, low-cost multimodal model that's lightning fast for image, video, and text inputs. Nova Pro, the highly capable multimodal model with a combination of accuracy, speed, and cost. Nova Premier, the most capable of Amazon's multimodal models for complex reasoning and for use as the best teacher for distilling custom models. This one will be available in Q1 of 2025. Nova Canvas, their state-of-the-art image generation model, and Nova Real, their state-of-the-art video generation model. So Amazon appears to be making all of the kinds of models that we're seeing out of OpenAI and Google and all of these other companies now as well. They have a little example on the website of this image of like the ocean here with the prompt dolly forward, and you can see the video moves forward and the waves continue to sort of crash and it stays very consistent. They also showed off this sort of ad concept for a pasta city here, showing off, I guess, their image generation model. I don't believe this is a video. I think it's just an image and they're sort of zooming in on the image. That looks to be the video generation model, but this is the kind of stuff that apparently will be able to generate with these new Amazon models. They also announced Amazon Connect, which is a new generative AI model to enhance customer service. So this sounds like more if you're selling products on Amazon, you can have an AI model to help with the customer service for the things you're selling on Amazon. And like I mentioned, Amazon and Anthropic are working together. Well, it came out this week that they are trying to build a supercomputer in collaboration with each other. And finally, in other Amazon news, Luma AI has partnered up with Amazon as well. They're going to be bringing the Luma video and image generation models to Amazon Bedrock. They say here this includes the all-new Luma Photon and Photon Flash, setting a new standard for creative and intelligent image generation. And Ray 2, their upcoming all-new super advanced video generation model. These video generation models are going to get even better. There's new models that we're going to see really soon. We can actually get a sneak peek here on this video that they put on X. Now, I'm not going to play the entire video. It's a minute and a half long, but I will link it up again in the description so you can watch the full video demo that they put out about the new upcoming Luma model that's going to be available over on Amazon Bedrock. It's pretty impressive looking, although not super realistic. I really like the aesthetics of it. And since we're talking about AI video, the company Hailuo AI, also known as Minimax, introduced Hailuo 12v01 Live, which transforms static art into dynamic masterpieces. It's their image to video model. It's designed to revolutionize how 2D illustrations come to life. With enhanced smoothness and vivid motion, the model lets your characters move, speak, and shine like never before, optimized for stability and subtle expression. It supports a wide range of artistic styles with unparalleled fluidity and finesse. And we can see in this demo that's been playing here the types of videos that this is capable of doing. And if you want to try out these models, you can do it over at hailuoai.video. The company Tencent out of China also released a new AI video model called Human Video. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not, but this one's actually open source. It's openly available to use, so you can download it, you can iterate, you can build off of it. It's fairly likely uncensored. I'm not sure. I haven't played with it yet. Again, I've been in London all week, but this is an exciting one to play with, and we'll have to definitely compare it with other video models in the future. But we can see it is available on GitHub and Hugging Face, and we have the option to try it now directly from their website. Although it does appear that you need to have a phone number that starts in +86 to be able to register on the site. But if you know what you're doing, you should be able to download it from GitHub or Hugging Face and use it locally. Something we'll have to experiment with in the future. Leonardo AI rolled out a feature that I've been super excited about. This is one that I've heard about for a while now, and I've not been allowed to talk about, but I am super excited about it. It's called Flow State. Now, I am an advisor for Leonardo, so take that into account, but I really do think this feature is amazing. Let's check it out. This Flow State feature is designed to have an idea, but also let the AI be like this creative collaborator with you. So if I wanted to give it a prompt like a wolf howling at the moon, I can generate that initial image, and you can see that it generated 8 images, but we can see at the bottom it says scroll to generate more. If I don't really like any of these images, it didn't really give me what I was looking for, I simply just keep scrolling and it continues to just generate more images for me as I scroll. This is just wild. So you keep going until you find one that's got this sort of aesthetic and look that you like. And then once you find one that's in the style you like, let's say I like this style here, but that image isn't exactly what I like, I'm gonna click more like this, and guess what? It generates a whole bunch more similar to that, and now I can keep on scrolling as it generates new images for me, and I can find one that's even closer. Oh, this one with the gold kind of looks cool. Let's save it to my library. Maybe I'll use this image, but let's keep going. I want more like this. Now it's generating more images that are similar to that, and I don't have to think through a really, really good prompt to get the image I want. I just keep on scrolling until I find one that's aesthetically pleasing, and I can either use it or generate more like that, and just keep on scrolling and scrolling until I narrow down on the exact image that I'm looking for. And we do have other settings over here, so I can dial in the vibe I'm looking for, I can dial in the lighting I'm looking for, dial in the shot type, dial in the color theme, and then of course we've got our various dimensions here. But to me, this is a whole new way of prompting images. You give it the the concept and you keep on scrolling, clicking on one you like, scrolling, clicking on one you like, and you just hone in and narrow in on that exact image you are looking for. This is freaking cool. A newscaster holding a microphone looking into the camera. This is something I prompt often for my thumbnails. So let's go ahead and generate that and try to hone in on like the perfect thumbnail for one of my AI news videos. None of these are really the aesthetic that I was looking for. This one is a tattoo. This one randomly generated Donald Trump. I really like this like painting style. Let's go do more like this here. You can see as soon as I click that, it set the vibe as concept art and the lighting as luminous. And now I've got more in this style that it's generating here. This one's looking pretty cool, a little bit dark for my taste. I like the sort of comic book style here. I like this style right here. This one looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and do more like that. And we can actually go back and see the ones that I clicked on in the past and sort of jump back to that state as well. I like the way this one looks here. If I'm able to swap that out with a face that looks like mine, that one could be pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that one. This one looks pretty good. Let's save that one. And who knows, the thumbnail on this video might be one of the images we just picked. That's the new flow state from Leonardo. I'm a huge fan of this because you can just sort of dive in and keep going until you get that exact image you want. Instead of trying hundreds of different prompts to get the thing you want, you let Leonardo keep on iterating for you instead. Really, really cool feature. All right, let's talk about AI audio. ElevenLabs last week announced the new podcast feature where you can give it articles and PDFs and things like that, and it would make a podcast. Well, they've rolled out new features with that, and now you can do it directly inside of the web app. Before it was only available on the mobile app. Now it's available in the web app. Before you couldn't actually download the podcast that you created. Now you can actually download those. In order to do it, I would use the projects feature, and we can see under projects, we now have GenFM generate a podcast. I could click here. I could choose between multiple voices. I can even have one of the podcast hosts be my voice. So if you like features like Notebook LM, which are still really, really cool, this will do something very similar, but you have more customization over the actual voices that are in there. On December 3rd, they put out an announcement that says introducing conversational AI. This is a feature where you can create your own like AI chatbot that other people can interact with, and you can train it on your own knowledge. But I talked about this in a video like a couple weeks ago. So the timing of the announcement was confusing me a little bit because I thought this was announced a couple weeks ago also. But I think what happened was they announced it on X a couple weeks ago, but then made it more public on a blog post more recently. So if you want to learn more about this conversational AI, it was in one of my last 2 AI news videos. Also, we have somebody from ElevenLabs that we recently interviewed on the Next Wave podcast. So if you want to dive even deeper into what ElevenLabs is doing, make sure you're subscribed to the Next Wave podcast because that episode should be dropping anytime now. The company Hume AI, which is a company that's known for making conversational voice tools that can actually understand your tone. So it can tell when you're angry or when you're happy. It tries to listen to little nuances in your voice to understand how you're feeling as you're talking about it. They just introduced these new voice controls. It says the tool gives developers control over 10 voice dimensions: gender, assertiveness, buoyancy, confidence, enthusiasm, nasality, relaxedness, smoothness, tepidity, and tightness. Unlike prompt-based approaches, voice control enables continuous adjustments along these dimensions, allowing for precise control and making voice modifications reproducible across sessions. And they released it in beta so that developers can play around with it. Again, I haven't played with this stuff yet, but plan to as soon as I have a free window to play with it. Today's video is more to show off the announcements, but over the next coming weeks, I am going to dive in and play with all of these tools and make videos around individual tools. So don't worry, if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll actually get deeper dives into a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about in some of the future videos. Perplexity added some new members to their publisher program. Basically, if Perplexity surfaces some of their content, these sources are going to get paid for it. You can see they added Adweek, Blavity, DP Review, Gear Patrol, The Independent, Lee Enterprises, Los Angeles Times, Media Lab, Mexico News Daily, Minkabu Infonoid, Newspicks, Prissa Media, RTL Germany Brand, Stern and NTV, and World History Encyclopedia. There's more drama in the AI world between Elon Musk and OpenAI. Elon Musk this week filed for an injunction to halt OpenAI from transitioning to a for-profit company. Elon Musk claims that OpenAI discouraged investors from backing OpenAI rivals like XAI, benefited from wrongly obtained competitively sensitive sensitive information through OpenAI's connection with Microsoft, converting OpenAI's governance structure to a for-profit, and transferring any material assets, including intellectual property, and causing OpenAI to do business with organizations in which any defendant has material financial interest. There was also some emails that came out from the early days between Sam Altman and Elon Musk when they were starting OpenAI. The best source that I found to read them was ChatGPT Tricks here on Instagram, so I will share it in the description below. I'm not going to go through all of these emails because there's quite a bit of them, but you can see they date all the way back to 2015 when Sam wrote to Elon Musk, been thinking a lot about whether it's possible to stop humanity from developing AI. I think the answer is almost definitely not. If it's going to happen anyway, it seems like it would be good for someone other than Google to do it first. Any thoughts on whether it would be good for YC to start a Manhattan project for AI? My sense is we can get many of the top 50 to work on it and could structure it so the tech belongs to the world via some sort of nonprofit, but the people working on it get startup-like compensation if it works. Obviously, we'd comply with aggressively support all regulation. Elon Musk replied, probably worth a conversation. The messages then jumped to 27 between Ilya Sutskever and Sam Altman and Elon Musk, where they start to butt heads a little bit about the future of OpenAI and whether or not they should focus on a for-profit or nonprofit. Again, there are quite a bit of emails to read. I'll click through them here. If you want to pause, you can, but I highly recommend just checking out all of this posts on Instagram on ChatGPT Tricks account, where you can read them all for yourself. Donald Trump announced his new AI and Crypto Czar, David Sachs. Here's what the role entails according to Trump. In this important role, David will guide policy for the administration in artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency, two areas critical to the future of America competitiveness. David will focus on making America the clear global leader in both areas. He will safeguard free speech online and steer us away from big tech bias and censorship. He will work on a legal framework so the crypto industry has the clarity it has been asking for and can thrive in the US. Now, Sachs is an investor. He's also one of the co-hosts of the All In podcast. And slight humble brag, he also follows me on Twitter, so who knows, maybe some of my tweets could help inform policy in the US in the future. And the company Humane, who made the really poorly reviewed Humane AI pin, is actually releasing their operating system, hoping that it will be used in cars and other devices and things like that. They put out a demo video of somebody actually talking to Hume in their car with a blurred out logo for some reason. And the idea being that it will be able to go and take action on your behalf. So maybe you could be driving in your car and tell it to, book a hotel for you, and it can go do things like that on your behalf. They also showed the person moving from their car to outside and then using the pin to continue the conversation, and then using some sort of blurred out device in your home to then continue the conversation within your home without having the pin on you. They showed off the ability to use it inside of a mobile app as well. So now it seems like they're pivoting from just selling the AI pin to having this operating system that can take actions on your behalf and then get integrated into all sorts of different devices that already exist. And finally, to end on robots like I often like to do, I came across this clone robotics website that shows this new android that is the most human looking android we've seen so far. This appears to still be kind of a concept because I haven't seen any pictures or videos of an actual prototype yet, but they do show off this kind of cool visual showing that we'll actually have a skeleton and muscles and basically be like a Westworld-like creation of a real human. So that's something to be excited / creeped out by. And that's what I got for you today. Again, this week was one of the busiest weeks in AI news all year, and I was freaking out of town for most of it. So I was doing my best to keep up while traveling, and there was so many announcements that I couldn't even share them all in this video without it being like an hour-plus long video. So make sure you check out futuretools.io/news because I listed all of that news here on this website so you can kind of get a quick update on everything that happened this week. And again, I demoed some of these tools a lot less than I normally would on my Friday news videos, and that's just because I haven't had a lot of opportunity to play with them yet. Again, next week, I'm planning on rolling out quite a few more videos, sort of diving into individual aspects of what happened this week. Plus, next week, we're going to get even more out of a lot of these companies, and there will be a lot more to talk about. Last year in December, there was kind of a slowdown in AI news. I thought we were going to see that again this year, but this year, December has been the biggest month so far in AI news. That just proves I have no idea what I'm talking about when I say I think things might slow down. because that kind of stuff I'm usually wrong on. Sorry about that, but I'll keep on reporting on it and having fun and playing with it and showing you and keeping you informed on the news. And next week, expect even more deep dives on some of this stuff, including tutorials on how to use a lot of this stuff yourself. I've got a lot of exciting videos planned for you. Luckily, I don't have any more travel planned for the month of December, so I can just heads down focus on learning about, using, and teaching you more about all of this cool stuff that's happening right now in the AI world. It is a super exciting time. I hope you're as excited as I am, and I'm here for it all. Can't wait to share more with you. Again, check out futuretools.io. I also share all the latest AI tools that I come across on top of the news, and we have a free newsletter. If you sign up for the free newsletter, I'll hook you up with the AI income database, which is a cool little database of ways to make money using AI tools. You get that free in exchange for joining the newsletter. Plus, of course, you get just the most important news and just the coolest tools that I come across delivered directly to your inbox. That's all over at futuretools.io. Thank you once again for tuning in and nerding out with me today. I really, really appreciate you. I will hopefully see you in a future video. Thanks again for tuning in. And thanks to Build Your Store and AutoDS for sponsoring this video. All right, bye-bye.